Hi everyone, it's your boy Nielsbishere here, and today I will show you how to create an NFT collection with the help of Fiverr creators. If you want to know the final results, stick around till the end to find out. So first you have to decide what you want to commission and what idea lines up with what you want to create. For my example, I'm of course a fan of Pokemon. It was the first thing that got me into game development. And yeah, I saw the NFT space and I saw that a lot of NFTs are just collections with the same image, but they're all slightly different. So I thought it was lacking personality and fun factor. And of course there are NFTs that don't align with this, but a lot of collections are just the same image over and over and slightly different. So for the creatures, I started brainstorming on what ideas I would like the starters to be based on. So I started by looking at existing type combinations and designing a unique species around it. For example, I thought about a crab and a cabbage, which just makes a Crabbage. Then this turns poisonous and a scorpion is an arachnid. So I basically decided that Crabbage turns into Crabbian and then in Crabnida. So I can take you through the process of how I found an artist on Fiverr. So I looked through their concept art and saw that some of their styles fit this concept. The first artist I found on Fiverr was Saorika. And the title of the gig is I will draw cute mascots, animals, creatures and stuff. She has a very cute style that works very well with the design I had in mind. And aside from that, her art is very affordable and she's fun to work with. I contacted the seller and told her about my ideas to make sure she was able to draw it. Sometimes artists are busy or it's not in their expertise, so they might want to know what you want them to draw beforehand. I commissioned from her 3 times. The first time was Crabbage, Crabbian and Crabnida. Now combining them like this can save you a lot of money because they might ask you for commercial licenses per gig. So if you do everything as 1 gig, then you might save money on there. Also, they might ask you for the source file and that might cost extra as well. So if you can batch that, it can save you a lot of money. The second time I commissioned was for the peak form, and this basically is Crabnida, but it adds an extra type. And the last time was Buckster and Gabillion, and these are a pet created from my Hamstercoin profits. So we started with Crabbage and we have some very good looking sketches, and I knew that it was going to be a good one. The missing vines that were in my requirement are because they would become too distracting from the core design. So I gave her my okay and she completed a line art version. I of course decided that this was good and I wanted to get it colored because I like the design. This is a very good thing to do because you make sure you like the concept before you've paid for everything. Now, the first colored version I didn't like because it felt too contrasty, but then she reduced it way too much and it kind of made it feel like an ice type. Instead of immediately denying someone else's vision because it doesn't align with yours, you gotta ask yourself if this idea can be salvaged. This can create very new cool ideas that you wouldn't have found on your own. In my case, I decided that it would be cool to have an ice version of the original as well as the normal grass version. This could be a regional variant, a special stone evolution or a shiny form. Next up, the peak form. She provided a sketch, but my friend and I thought that the pose was too similar to the original Crabnida. We decided to put it on its stingers and this looks way more menacing and it really makes the evolutionary line feel complete. She then added the coloring and the shading looks superb. Last but not least, today she finished Buckster and Gabillion, an idea from the same friend. The idea is a greedy hamster and it collects coins and money and stores it in its cheeks. Then it evolves and it can carry golden bars and is way more menacing. First it seemed too much like a bear, but then she revamped the ears and whiskers to make it seem more like a hamster. So she changed the sketch and she came out with a great looking result. After the colors it was almost done and the pockets were added for safe money storage. After Saorika, I found Sabzdunz, and he has a routed picture. This is a Pokemon. And I thought it would be nice to see what he could do. The concept is a thorny devil that grows a volcano on its back. It uses the jet on its belly to shoot up into the air. And the idea was that when it became the final evolution, it would be able to glide using its plane-like wings and use the jets on its wings to speed up or slow down if pointed the opposite way. However, when it was done, it looked way too bulky compared to the other ones. So instead of scrapping it, I came up with the idea of a peak form. It's basically like a real evolution. It does only occur when the pet is under extreme stress, gains an extra type, even if it already has 2 types, so it can have up to 3 types. It also means it can get an extra ability as well. So during the first pet he was very busy and it took a bit to get fully going. But once it got going, it went really well and his first concept was already quite good. But I thought the face looked a little bit off. So he then provided a couple iterations on the face and I finally went with the morning look. So Devi just really needs his coffee and didn't realize that he was getting his profile picture taken today. He then evolves into this angsty teen phase where he's too cool for school, and after that he grows into a fully evolved lad with a volcano on his back. And even though I've shown the peak form before with Crabbage, this was the first peak form and I think it looks really cool. The only thing that I would have changed, if I could have asked about it, is the lines are too thin. So it makes it look worse when it's shown as a lower quality image. The last starter is a combination between a camel, a chipmunk and coral. This is the Chordary line, made by Isaiasrequena. Chordary evolves into Chimel and then into Chimildary. This of course also has a peak form. Isaiah was extremely quick with delivering and he even made a joke about wanting to take a month for it. Even though I had to use a translator 2 times, it was very easy to understand and he also came up with the psychic type for the peak form. The only thing I saw was that Chordary has lines that are too big proportionally to its body, but other than that it was all perfect. He also provided multiple color palettes to make sure that we got the right one. And that's why we landed on the blue and purple scheme we see today. Next up is the Unique Man 01 and he made a combination between a cat, pillar and a caterpillar. This one was difficult to get right because it had to maintain the caterpillar part while also still keeping the pillar part. So we had to make sure that it still seemed a little bit flexible. The Unique Man had to do some special shape mapping for Catcoon to ensure it looked really good. And it turns from caterpillar to Catcoon and into caterfly, which has arcs as wings, as you can see. With the coloring, the difficulty was that unexpectedly, caterpillar is not a rock or steel type, so the color scheme didn't fit. It took multiple times to figure it out, but I think the result is great. And overall, I'm very happy with how everything turned out. Next up we have Tomassiart. Now this was the most interesting one, because his line art style is very cool. He basically creates it in grayscale and this allows you to easily paint over it to add colors. His first revision of the line art wasn't what I expected. I asked for a combination between a dog and a bee, Doggy, which then turned into Dogpot and Dogsim. So my friend came up with a better version of the idea. We'd use a pug instead of a dog and this time it was perfect. The second evolution is like Stitch from Lilo and Stitch, raided a beehive and got stuck. Super cute. While the first stage is derpy and the last stage is evil looking. It's perfect. Luckily he was very patient with me and changed it without any problems. Unfortunately, I didn't immediately get back to him, so he continued on his list. While he was doing that, I started coloring. He provided multiple colorings, but in the end, some of my friends and I decided to go for my coloring. He probably could have gotten to that same result, but I decided to not bother him, since he already had done the shading and I did the coloring. I applied the shading to my version and that's the one I decided to go with. I'd say the shading, line art and grayscale is amazing. Now, for the NFT part, I downloaded Trust Wallet, which is a Binance owned wallet. But you can use MetaMask on desktop or any other wallet that supports it as well. The wallet is where you keep your NFTs that you create or buy. So be sure to keep this seed phrase safe. Nobody can recover this for you. If you decide to buy from my collection, I won't be able to give you a refund if you lose your keys. In Trust Wallet you go to dApps and in the search bar you type OpenSea. You might have to accept sign-in if you want to create or buy NFTs. This is my collection, Peth Genesis. If you buy NFTs, I will continue adding more species to some extent and try to support more Fiverr creators. Peth Genesis contains one NFT per species, except for specials. These specials contain peak forms and special day forms, such as the Halloween form of Puggee, which I will only list for sale on Halloween. This means today is the only day I will sell it, and if I don't sell it, I will wait till next year. Metadata frozen means I am unable to edit the peth because it's stored on decentralized storage. The blockchain Polygon means it's stored on the Polygon network, which is a sidechain from Ethereum. This means that to buy it, you have to send some Matic to your wallet so you can do transactions, as well as transfer some Ethereum. For people interested in buying NFTs, I've put a guide in the description. And the reason this is Polygon and not Ethereum is because Polygon is a lot cheaper for both parties involved. Down here you can see the description, properties and trading history of the pets. These are all the options you can choose from. Though at the time this video is out, there should also be Puggee, Buckster, Puggee, Halloween lines. Creating a new NFT is quite easy. You only upload the image, set the name, descriptor and properties. After that you can freeze the metadata if you go on edit, and this means you can touch it afterwards. Be sure to double check everything because you don't want to end up with a caterpillar that can't fly. You can also choose supply and blockchain. I'd advise to pick Polygon for low gas fees like I mentioned before, otherwise it will cost you a lot to accept someone's offer. To create a collection, you need a banner, an icon, a promotional banner, a title and a description. A collection can accept royalties, where each cell gives a percentage to the creator. In my case, this is set to 5%. 5% of each cell goes to me. For payment tokens, I'd say allow all payment options, but be careful to look at what someone bids. If you accept DAI or USDC, know that it's in dollars, so don't multiply it by $4,000. I would say that was about it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you found it useful and that you might consider supporting the project. This has been it. I'll see you guys later. Goodbye. Unexpectedly, unexpectedly.